I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
Leaked footage from Gervonta's training camp has surfaced, showing the rising fighter going toe-to-toe with heavyweights.
Stop closing up, gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
The leaked clips show Tank testing his power against much larger opponents, demonstrating that he's unfazed by the size difference. According to reports, his team organized these intense sparring sessions to toughen him up and Gervonta has been challenging himself by taking on much larger opponents during training, sparring with heavyweights and powerful punchers to refine his strength and timing. These intense sessions highlight his confidence and determination, as he refuses to limit himself to his own weight class. Promoter Hearn has voiced strong concerns about the upcoming fight between Gervonta and Jake Paul, arguing that it crosses a dangerous line for the sport. According to Hearn, boxing's true essence lies in genuine competition, not in theatrically staged events designed purely for publicity. He believes this matchup feels more like a show disguised as a sporting contest, especially given the clear size disparity between the two fighters. Jake Paul holds a natural physical advantage, while Gervonta comes from lighter divisions that emphasize speed and precision.
Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat, and you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat, and they're about to fight. It just feels like Jake Paul is always picking fights where he has a massive advantage. Like now he's fighting Gervonta, who's, I don't know how much smaller, but probably close to like 80 pounds smaller, which is a crazy significant weight advantage for Jake Paul. Now, you have to also look at the other way. Gervonta has a crazy advantage over Jake Paul. He has incredible amount of skill, more years of training. For sure, pound for pound, he would mop the floor with Jake Paul. But this is what makes the fight exciting. And two guys fighting, and we don't know who's gonna win. Guys, what's the key to having a exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat, and you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat, and they're about to fight. Somebody's about to say go, and these guys gotta go at it. So that's what makes a fight exciting. So this is kind of that, because if they were the same weight, none of us would tune in. We would be like, this is just a punching bag for Gervonta. It doesn't make the fight exciting, but because Jake Paul is so big, so much bigger, it makes the fight exciting.
Former champion Paulie Malignaggi takes a more pragmatic view of the upcoming fight, reminding fans that it shouldn't be mistaken for an official boxing match. It's purely a show. He notes that there will be no betting, no impact on rankings, and no lasting consequences for either fighter's career. In his eyes, the event resembles a modern exhibition designed to entertain the masses rather than test true professional limits. Malignaggi urges viewers to appreciate it as a spectacle instead of a competition. His perspective echoes the frustration of many boxing purists who believe the sport is shifting towards showmanship at the expense of integrity. Yet, his candid assessment also acknowledges the reality
that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then. But I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round. I don't know what it is, but you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at for the beginning?
Yeah, no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now. After that, I mean, like, you know, we're not going to wait around till November or December, yeah, and see how he gets on. I mean, if he gets chinned by Gervonta Davis, we can't exactly make the Anthony Joshua fight.
Wade Plemons from the Wade Concept describes Jake Paul as a master manipulator who skillfully wields fame and ego as his greatest weapons. According to Wade, Jake doesn't just fight with his fists, he plays psychological games that draw opponents into his orbit. He knows how to build tension, provoke reactions, and transform every challenge into a viral spectacle. Wade explains that Jake enticed Gervonta Davis into this matchup by leveraging wealth, attention, and the promise of massive financial reward, making the offer too tempting to refuse. With his blend of confidence and marketing genius, Jake turns every fight into a global event. He understands that when
I watch it, I don't. I just think he's fighting opponents that, you know, are not with it anymore or are too small for him and whatnot. But in this situation, it is an exhibition. So you've got to keep in mind that this could be set up. Be like WWE. This one could be set up. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but this is not a sanctioned fight, champ. This is an exhibition. And an exhibition means you cannot bet on it. You cannot bet on the result. If you remember, this is why they changed the Mike Tyson fight from an exhibition to a real fight, because they realized, you know, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means, I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing, Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the gloves. That's a lot of weight, Carl. You know, you've been in a boxing ring. That still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is, if the gloves are small, Jake could also hurt Gervonta, because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him. You know, so do you make the gloves big, and then really, who's got an advantage? I don't know. You know, technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
Despite the circus atmosphere surrounding the event, Gervonta Davis is treating the fight as a genuine and serious challenge. Sources from his training camp describe him as focused, disciplined, and meticulously prepared. His choice of noticeably larger sparring partners reflects his determination to confront the physical demands of the matchup head-on. Observers at press events have also noted his calm demeanor and unwavering concentration, showing that he remains undistracted by the noise and hype surrounding the fight. For Davis, this bout isn't about fame or spectacle, it's about proving that skill, precision, and technique can triumph over size and
Also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it. Guys have been because I do think that they're going in this fight and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create is if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul. If he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which has never been, but you get what I'm saying. What Jake is doing is trying to convince a casual audience that he belongs in the ring with bigger names. If he's able to hurt Gervonta at all, that might actually do it.
The upcoming fight has sharply divided fans across the boxing world. Some view it as an insult to the sport's integrity, while others see it as an opportunity to modernize boxing and attract a new generation of fans. Supporters of Gervonta Davis believe this is his moment to expose the gap between an entertainer and a true fighter, proving that skill and discipline still define the sport. On the other hand, Jake Paul's fans argue that he's breaking barriers by reigniting interest in a sport that has struggled to capture younger audiences. The debate highlights a generational divide between those who see boxing as a pure art form and those who
in the press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff.
The outcome of this fight could shape the future of boxing for years to come. If Jake Paul emerges victorious, the sport may lean further toward influencer versus boxer matchups, where star power and spectacle outweigh rankings and legacy. While such events draw massive attention, they risk pushing legitimate champions out of the spotlight. Conversely, if Gervonta Davis wins decisively, it could reaffirm faith in traditional boxing, proving that experience, discipline, and technique still triumph over marketing and hype. This matchup represents more than a clash between two fighters.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. That he ain't gonna do him no favors. That he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get off. You know what I mean? That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game, but you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 stops. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? If he not gonna fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever gonna fight you, I'm not doing you no favors, then all right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said
the retirement.
The retirement. Oh, boxing. Boxing, they're around. They're around. There's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Dark-skin boy. That's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this?
The matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul challenges the very definition of what people consider real boxing. It defies the traditional path of earning rankings, mandatory defenses, and championship opportunities, existing instead in a gray area between professional sport and entertainment spectacle. Many purists argue that fights like this undermine boxing's credibility, while others believe they're essential to keeping the sport relevant in the social media era. What makes this bout particularly unusual is that both fighters are still in their prime, unlike typical exhibition matches that feature retired legends. This blurring of lines between competition and showmanship makes the event both intriguing and controversial. At its core, the fight is about more than strength or skill, it's about identity. Gervonta Davis embodies the disciplined, old-school fighter who earned his reputation through years of dedication and mastery. Jake Paul represents the modern showman, using charisma, marketing, and business savvy to build his empire. Both philosophies hold power, but only one will shape the next era of boxing.
The purists hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy, thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sat me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is, let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long jab is the gate, but Tank's head movement is the key. Once he times it, the door's getting open and the furniture is going to get rearranged. Think locksmith versus padlock. Big padlock looks scary until the right tool clicks once. Jake throws that overhand like he's bowling with the shoulder. Effective, but you don't see it.
The matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul challenges the very definition of what people consider real boxing. It breaks away from the traditional path of earning rankings, mandatory defenses, and championship opportunities, existing instead in a gray area between professional sport and entertainment spectacle. Many purists argue that fights like this undermine boxing's credibility, while others believe they're essential to keeping the sport relevant in the social media age. What makes this bout particularly unusual is that both fighters are still in their prime, unlike typical exhibition matches that feature retired legends. This clash blurs the line between athletic competition and global entertainment, turning the ring into a battleground for identity as much as skill. Gervonta Davis embodies the disciplined, old-school fighter who earned his respect through years of hard work and mastery, while Jake Paul symbolizes the modern showman who leveraged personality and business savvy to reach the top. Both approaches carry influence, but only one will define boxing.
Fights like this, with fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight, and those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser. Because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the bigs next, the circus. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather.